I'm sure there are many folks out there who were scratching their heads wondering how this channel knew many hours ahead of time before it was announced that Donald Trump would be replacing Matt Gaetz with Pam Bondi as his choice for Attorney General. It's just as simple as the man has a type. He likes to surround himself with caked up hotties, and it just makes his day go better, and that's what motivates him. Now, I'm not saying that Pam Bondi isn't a qualified choice, but there were certain things that she brought to the table that no one else could compete with. And it's a pattern. Now, real quick, I know that I told everyone over Patreon this weekend we would have a video up. I am sorry, I dislocated my right shoulder. I was dealing with a lot of different issues as well, and I just had to get some rest, but it will be up, I promise, very shortly before Thanksgiving. The new video will be, of course, for the Need to Know Roundtable, the $5 level. And, of course, as always, unit commanders, brigade commanders, you're welcome to sit in. If you'd like to join us at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, we take the gloves off over there a little bit, and we talk about things in a little bit more stark terms and use images and topics that wouldn't be allowed here on YouTube. That's why I have the base level set at only one single US dollar per month. That's the lowest they will allow me to set it. I would set it at a quarter if they would let me, just to create the little speed bump so that we can get rid of the bots and get rid of the trolls and have an actual intelligent adult conversation. So thank you everyone who's joined us over there. If you're worried about, caveat, emptor, the buyer beware, fully refundable first 90 days, no questions asked. Hundreds of videos going back years and years and years. Believe me, definitely worth your time. Once again, thank you, everybody. Let's get right to today's main topic. Donald Trump has a type. Donald Trump has a type. And he, many times, has allowed this desire to influence his choices in his professional world. Now, this isn't even all of the women that he has surrounded himself with by choice in the White House and in his legal world. We'll start here in the lower left. Hope Hicks, special advisor, played a huge role in 2016. Friend of course, his daughter Ivanka Trump. Most recently, Pam Bondi. We've showed many different images of her. Jenna Ellis, lower right. This is one of his lawyers that he had during the whole 2020 election nonsense. Of course, his daughter, upper right, senior special advisor to the president, was all over the White House. Most recently, Caroline Leavitt. Next to her is his new White House press secretary. This is another one of his lawyers right here in the middle. It's Alina Habba. This is Heather Nauert next to her. She was Trump's spokesperson, State Department spokesperson back during 2016, and she actually got promoted to the number 4 person at the State Department, Undersecretary for Public Policy and Affairs, I believe. Then we have, of course, Kayleigh McEnany here. That was his press secretary, and of course, everybody knows the woman in the upper left, Stormy Daniels. And when Heather Nauert she was going to replace, this is the girl right here, the Fox News hottie. She was going to replace Nikki Haley, who I didn't have pictured here, at the UN, and then she got busted having an illegal nanny, and so she had to withdraw her name, and then she was replaced by Morgan Ortagus. And I didn't include Nikki Haley or anyone else, so. And Morgan Ortagus, of course, is Jewish and friends with his daughter, and it's just a kind of an easy thing to see sometimes with Mr. Trump, that he makes decisions, sometimes not entirely intellectually. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it does dovetail with something else that's going on when you look at Donald Trump's history of knee-jerk reactions and opinions that he has himself versus opinions that he has after he talks to his political advisors. You start to see a very dangerous pattern. Now, a lot of folks on Bitcoin are probably coming to the channel saying, Florida Maquis, what do you have to say about where Bitcoin is now versus what you thought that Donald Trump believed in? Well, let's keep the receipts, shall we? Let's keep the receipts. 2021, August 31, 2021, Trump warns crypto potentially a disaster waiting to happen. Trump has said he's not been a big fan of cryptocurrencies during an exclusive interview on Varney. Now remember, we're talking about 2021 here. This isn't like some way long time ago. Noting that he does, and this was after the big climb that Bitcoin had back in 2020. He said, I like the currency of the United States. He argued that investing in cryptocurrencies hurts the U.S. currency. He said it seemed like a scam, and this is his quote. This is Donald Trump's quote. The currency of this world should be the dollar, and I don't think we should have all the Bitcoins of the world out there. I think they should regulate them very, very high. It takes the edge off of the dollar and the importance of the dollar. Now, are those my words? No, those are Donald Trump's words in 2021. Then, we see this now, November 24, 2024, why the U.S. under Trump might start amassing Bitcoin and what that might mean for its price. He wants to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Donald Trump's rise as the first crypto president has riled up the industry. A national Bitcoin stockpile. Now remember what Trump said about wanting it to be heavily regulated? Let's go back to, 2022? Biden to sign order clearing way for crypto oversight, which is exactly what Donald Trump said the year prior would be a good idea. The year prior to this is March 7, 2022, when Biden did this, to sign that executive order clearing the way for crypto oversight. When is this? This is August 31, 2021. It's only 6 months later. So 6 months later, Joe Biden does exactly what Donald Trump said would be a good idea, but what do we know the reaction was? Everybody was all against it, and everybody on the right was, this terrible idea. Biden's trying to get rid of the dollar. Biden's trying to this, that, and the other. So in Florida, Governor DeSantis passed a bill getting rid of CBDC as money in Florida. Central bank digital currency. But wait a minute. Hold on. Back up. Didn't Donald Trump just say that he wants to create a Bitcoin stockpile? I think it's exciting in the sense that it certainly gives credibility to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. What would a Bitcoin reserve do? In the same week that Trump pledged to create a national stockpile, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis, so all of a sudden creates some type of a blueprint. The Bitcoin Act. Bitcoin has been appreciating since inception, not always. And now Trump is all for it. I mean, talk about a flip-flop. Donald Trump becomes first presidential candidate to accept crypto donations. It's a huge flip-flop on Donald Trump with Bitcoin and CBDC. So it's kind of hard to keep track of him. What we did in Florida was based on what the opinion of Donald Trump was way back when he thought it was a bad idea. But now that he thinks it's a good idea, I'm sure everybody's going to demonize DeSantis for this, because Donald Trump wants to do this now. And here he says Bitcoin, this is the craziest thing. Stocks, and by the way, the dollar is down, by the way, just as a result of Bitcoin going up. The greenback dropped, the dollar dropped against all developed market currencies, all of them. Accepting crypto donations, and what was the other one I wanted to show you guys? Anyway, point being that Donald Trump is all in on cryptocurrency. And it isn't the first time. How many of you remember this? Donald Trump says transgender people should use the bathroom they want. When was this? April 21, 2016. April 21, remember the date. He goes on the Today Show, Katie Couric, and when asked directly if Caitlyn Bruce, whatever Jenner, whatever that is, wanted to walk into Mar-a-Lago or Trump Tower, that Caitlyn, Bruce, whatever, Jenner, would be able to use any old bathroom they felt like at the time. Fast forward to when? February 23rd, 2017, not even a year later. Trump administration reverses transgender bathroom guidance. So then he changes his mind on that. Trump says he wants to take guns away from people in crisis. When is this? LA Times, August 6, 2019. This is Donald Trump this is 2019, coming out for red flag laws. But then people get all over Ron DeSantis in Florida for there being red flag laws. This is the Guardian. People will die. Why is Ron DeSantis loosening gun laws that most Floridians support? Bill passed by Republican-controlled state legislature to allow permitless carry reflects a rightward lurch in Florida's politics. But this guy, RFK Jr., who is now, Trump hero, Trump supporter hero, came out and said he'd sign an assault weapons ban if it reached his desk. Crooked Hillary, complete reversal. Some have said, Florida Maquis, when are you going to fess up about you thought that Kamala Harris was going to win? So did Trump. So did Trump. See, there's this big lie out there about this being a landslide. It's 2 million votes. And in the swing states, about 150,000 vote difference would have flipped the election. About 150,000 votes in the swing states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, would have flipped the election. And this article, this is quoting him. This is what he went on ABC the day before the election and said he thought he could lose. And as far as changing minds, people, going one way and then saying something else. Vance wrote, fellow Christians, everyone is watching us when we apologize for Donald Trump. Lord help us. We've covered this. Huge flip-flop. RFK Jr., assault weapons ban. Repeal and replace Obamacare. Hillary for prison. Take the guns first, due process second. Oh, and let's not forget, we're going to give Donald Trump credit where credit is due because, well, that's what Turning Point Action told us to. Biden inherited a modern medical miracle in Operation Warp Speed. 3 vaccines delivered by Donald Trump in less than a year. 3 vaccines delivered by Donald Trump in less than a year. An unparalleled vaccine distribution network by Donald Trump. Do not let Joe Biden take credit for a single Trump jab accomplishment. Okay. Fair enough. But I guess when it comes down to trying to predict Mr. Trump, there are things that you can say he will do. And there are things that you can definitely say he'll probably change his mind on once his political advisors tell him what his opinion should be. But there are some things that are pretty hard and fast. And Donald Trump likes caked up, curvy, voluptuous women around in virtually any position he can get them in. And if it was 1 or it was 2, possibly 3 maybe, but there's no way. Hope Hicks had no business in the White House. 3 different Fox News girls. Every lawyer I've seen. There, you know what? There was another one. There was another lawyer I forgot to put up here. Lindsay, Halligan? I'm trying to remember her name. He has another lawyer. And she is a drop-dead, beautiful blonde. And her name is Lindsay something. And I forgot to put her in here. So, I mean, it just goes on. The list of, it's clear the way this man makes his decisions. So, I mean, you can have whatever opinion you want on this, but the facts are the facts. There was a time when Donald Trump called Bitcoin a scam. And it was bad for the dollar. And just on its face, if it acts like a currency, it is bad for the dollar, because when you take any currency and you purchase another currency with it, the currency that you purchased with goes down. They'd be like everybody's, taking their dollars and going and buying rubles or going and buying yen or going and buying any other currency. The more currency that's being held in the world is going down. The more currency that is being used and is in traffic goes up. Bitcoin is going up not on its own. It's going up because people are buying it with dollars. That's what a lot of people just don't get. They just do not get that Bitcoin is not going up in value all by itself. It's going up because people are purchasing it with US dollars. And if it tanks, you watch. Trump is going to go back to his original statement and start throwing people under the bus. If it goes up really high and then something happens and it tanks, or it tanks the dollar, you watch. You watch how fast this changes. It is also presumed that Bitcoin's appreciating value will counterbalance the weakening of the dollar in the event of another bout of inflation. Let's see what the naysayers say. If the U.S. invests in a volatile asset, it risks downstream effects on the economy. The U.S. would convert gold certificates held by the Federal Reserve today to today's fair market value before selling them and then using the proceeds to buy Bitcoin. Now, that's an interesting idea. How many of you would be for the U.S. giving up its gold reserves to put its money into Bitcoin? How many of you out there would sell gold to get Bitcoin? How many of you are for the president creating a U.S. national stockpile, taking U.S. dollars and U.S. assets and putting them into cryptocurrency? Knowing what we know about the history of Bitcoin going up and down and up and down and up and down. So anyway, I will leave it there. So once again, thank you everyone. Very, very much appreciate it. Sorry for the delay on the video. Just one of those issues that you have as you get older. Sometimes things don't work like they should, but the shoulder is on the mend. Got it in a brace, so hopefully things will get better. But once again, thank you everyone for supporting us over there. I very, very much appreciate it. God bless all of you. Pray for each other. Pray for me, I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.